What's something only kids who grew up poor would understand? Growing up, we were what my mom called on a budget. But what I now realize was just straight up poor. We lived in this cramped apartment with paper-thin walls and a window AC unit that mom only let us run when it was like death hot outside because the electric bill would be through the roof. Our furniture was all from thrift stores or what people were throwing away. I remember being so excited when we found a couch someone had left by the dumpster that only had one ripped cushion. Anyway, this one summer when I was 9, my mom was working double shifts at this factory and barely home. When she was there, she was usually passed out from exhaustion. But this one Friday, she comes home with this look on her face, like she had a secret, and announces we're going out to eat that night. For context, we never ate out. Like maybe once a year on someone's birthday if things weren't too tight. So this was huge news. My little brother started literally jumping on the furniture and I ran to find my nice clothes, aka the least faded hand-me-downs. Mom caught me trying to fix my hair in the bathroom mirror and gave me this tired smile that somehow made her look younger. She came in and braided my hair, telling me how pretty I looked, even in my old clothes. Her hands were rough, all cracked skin and calluses, but so gentle when she touched my hair. I remember sitting in our ancient car that overheated if you ran the AC, daydreaming about where we might go. Maybe the diner? Or what about that Chinese buffet place where you could eat as much as you wanted? I was imagining sitting in actual air conditioning, maybe even getting a soda instead of just water. When we pulled into McDonald's, I didn't even feel disappointed. That was fancy to us. And not even eating inside. We went through the drive-thru and got the special deals. Mom let us each get a whole value meal instead of sharing. We sat in the car in the parking lot eating because why waste money on AC inside when we have perfectly good food right here? I was in heaven with my nuggets and small fry. I even got to keep the Happy Meal toy, which usually mom would say was a waste of money. The next Monday at school, this girl Ivy was complaining about how her parents took her to Olive Garden again, and she was so sick of it and wished they'd go somewhere actually nice. I remember feeling this weird mix of shame and anger sitting there. I'd been so pumped about McDonald's drive-thru, and here she was acting like Olive Garden was basically prison food. I almost said something, but then realized she'd probably laugh if she knew how special McDonald's was for my family. That night, I asked my mom why some kids got to eat at restaurants all the time. She got this look. Not sad exactly, but tired in a way that went beyond physical exhaustion. She explained that different families had different amounts of money, and some people didn't have to worry about the cost of things the way we did. She sat on the edge of my bed that night and told me how when she was little, they sometimes didn't have dinner at all. How she promised herself her kids would never know that feeling. She stroked my hair and said, "We might not have much, but we have enough, and that's something to be grateful for." I remember watching her hands as she spoke, how she'd unconsciously turn her wedding ring, the only thing she had from my dad who left when I was a baby. Another time, I remember coming home from school to find mom crying at the kitchen table with bills spread out everywhere. When she saw me, she quickly wiped her eyes and forced this bright smile. She said she was just tired, but I knew it was more than that. That night, she made breakfast for dinner, pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse, saying it was a special treat. But I realized years later it was because we probably couldn't afford anything else that week. That was when I really understood we were poor. Not just careful with money like mom always said, but actually poor. Years later, after college, first in the family to go, I took my mom to Olive Garden with my first real paycheck. She was so uncomfortable there, kept looking at prices and saying things like, "This is too much, and we should have just gone to cheaper place." She only wanted the soup and salad. I insisted on ordering her the tour of Italy, the most expensive thing on the menu, and I still remember her face. She looked almost guilty about eating it, like she didn't deserve it. She boxed up half to take home, saying she'd make it last for 3 more meals. On the drive home, she got quiet, then suddenly said, "I'm sorry I couldn't give you more when you were little." It broke my heart because she was apologizing to me when she'd worked herself to exhaustion just to keep us fed and housed.